Some criminals have turned their attention to food. In the quest for a profit, they replace pricey food with cheaper alternatives or water liquids down with less expensive additives. And as Andrea Day reports, food fraud is costing consumers billions.
Extra virgin olive oil has sort of a long, rich history of fraud.
From olive oil that's not entirely extra virgin to honey.
You can't tell that it's been cut with high fructose corn syrup.
According to best-selling author Larry Olmsted, our supermarkets are loaded with fake foods, like coffee cut with corn and even sawdust, and seafood.
Nationwide, about a third of our seafood is mislabeled at retail. You can't tell red snapper, which is really expensive, from tilapia, which is really cheap. Most of the time you buy and pay for red snapper, you get something like tilapia.
And consumers wind up paying the price. According to the Michigan State University Food Fraud Initiative, food fraud costs $30 to $40 billion every year worldwide. And dining out?
Very few people realize that the restaurants are sort of the Wild West. They don't have to adhere to the same kind of labeling rules retailers have.
Food fraud has and does cause illnesses, and it has actually caused deaths in consumers.
Karen Everstein is a scientist at USP. The group sets standards for medicines and foods. On her watch list, processed foods.
We're sourcing ingredients from all over the world and putting them together into a finished food product. This increases the opportunities for fraud.
Like frozen pizza that can have dozens of ingredients. USP created a database for companies looking to prevent fraud.
You can quickly identify which ingredients are prone to fraud, what are the adulterants that have been used, and which of those adulterants might be hazardous. So if you look at something like paprika, it's been adulterated with 19 different substances. So if you're a manufacturer, then you're being duped by one of your suppliers, and that comes to light, certainly there's brand damage.
The FDA and the USDA are just two agencies that regulate food. According to the FDA, combating food fraud is the responsibility of both industry and regulatory authorities. The FDA inspects manufacturers to make sure they're meeting requirements for good manufacturing practices and also conducts label reviews during these inspections. And the USDA tells us it, quote, works every day at establishments ensuring that meat, poultry, and processed egg products entering commerce are safe, wholesome, and correctly labeled.
So what can you do? Well, Olmsted tries to avoid heavily processed foods because they can hide a lot of fake ingredients. And when you can, buy foods in their most whole form, like coffee beans, whole fish, and cheese, so you always know exactly what you're getting. I'm Andrea Day for Nightly Business Report.